Good morning. For the record, I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HDC Sign Advisory Committee. Let's confirm access. Members, please respond with an aye. We have Kevin Kuster.
Aye.
Mark Catone.
Aye.
And Paul Wolf.
Aye.
And for staff, we have Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
This open meeting of the HDC's SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. That order, posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording available on the town's YouTube channel. We will feature public comment. Materials provided to members for the meeting or during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name's called and direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and make taking of minutes easier. We will conduct votes by roll call. Let's call the meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. on April 1st, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Kevin. Mark, you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We also have our minutes from the last meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those? Do we have any motions to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, thank you. And Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
Oh,
great.
Here's
Well,
Ben
thank you.
coming over, Mr. Chair. 1 second.
Sure. Okay, Ben, Norman,
Sure.
are you present?
I'm here.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, we've approved our agenda and minutes from the last meeting. We're on to public comment. Is anybody on the call to comment on something other than an application before us? Okay, seeing none. Any commissioner comments that would like to be made?
The only comment I'd make, Chris, in our opening statement that you make, is it still, is the Zoom or remote meeting still under Baker, or would it be Healy? I know it seems really minor, but
It's a
or
good
is
question.
it like, is it an,
I think Baker made the order.
and I don't know if it was recently restored or renewed by
I
Healy?
think it was recently renewed
Okay.
up until a certain date. I'll send you the info. I think we got the email last week. But yeah, thanks for that, Mark. I'll send everyone that info.
Yeah, you might be able to make a shorter statement. I hear some commissions are really short. So
I will not complain about that. So if there's, if I'm given direction to make a shorter statement, I'd be happy to do it. So, okay. Yeah, Nikki, do you mind just seeing if there's a way we can abbreviate the introduction? That'd be great. Thanks. Okay. The only other commissioner comment I'd like to make is that I have been approached by a member of the public that would like us to speak at town meeting if it's in, if we agree, or if we get the HDC's, I think it would be better to get the HDC's approval for this, but there is the law being, or the article being proposed for electronic street signage, basically speed limit signs and things of that nature. And the idea is to try to just put some restriction on it as far as the quantity and perhaps sizing. And there's been some other towns that have implemented those types of limits. So it was addressed at the select board meeting, where the selectmen or the select members had interest in making sure that it was used selectively. So the language that was put into the article says something to the effect of keeping the character of the streetscape in mind. I don't know if we want to try to make that more specific, but I just let everybody kind of think about that. I'll send an email out that gives the language of the article, and if there's any desire for us to send it up to the HDC to request a more specific restriction that could be done as a floor amendment during meeting, we can propose that. So,
Chris, was the comment you received in favor of the article or opposed to the article?
In favor of the article, not opposed to the article. It wasn't necessarily in favor. It was more just, do we have any concern about at least giving some guidance from the sign committee and HDC's point of view, because the only language in it said keeping the character of the streetscape and neighborhood in mind. So obviously, if we start seeing 20-foot tall, LED signs along the roadsides, who's the judge of what's keeping the character in mind, I guess is the concern.
I thought, don't we have regulations about electronic signs?
We do,
And
but
if-
this would be voted through a town meeting saying that this instance would be allowed. So it's something worth. I'll forward everybody the language of the warrant article, and we have a month to prepare some comment if we want to have one made. I think we should make sure it's coming with the HTC's backing if we're going to promote something. So I'll email that to you, Nikki, if you don't mind sharing that with the board. That would be great.
Sure.
Okay, thanks. Okay, any other commissioner comments?
No.
Okay, let's move on to the first item on the agenda. We have 53 Main Street. Revisiting and sign here, Nantucket, you're on the call.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. So you've made some revisions. Do you want to walk
Yes.
us through those?
So we removed the, well, Congdon Coleman removed the box that was there. So I thought the owner was going to be on here this morning, but I don't see that she's signed in yet. But they are okay with either the.
I'm right here. I'm on the call. Hi.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I'll let Lauren.
Hi. Yeah, so we revised the color, height, and font of the sign as requested by you. And this is the new sign that we have.
Okay, thanks. Let's go Paul, Ben, Mark, Kevin.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Ben?
I wasn't here for the first one, but it seems, yeah, so I'll just sit off of this one.
Okay, thanks. Mark?
I'm sorry, is it before it says blue or is it before it says black? I saw the previous item.
They'll go with either.
Either, yeah.
Either.
Yeah, yeah,
In our last meeting, we had asked for the black
yeah.
combination.
Graphically, I don't have any concerns. And I guess the black is maybe slightly more appropriate for Main Street. I did actually go to this location yesterday with a tape measure because I was trying to. What is the size of the sign as proposed in terms of its left to right dimension? 18
inches by
40. Okay, and I think the bracket arm is 48 inches.
Correct.
Just for the benefit of the other commissioners, I did measure a few of the other bracket arms that are tangent to this location, and they vary from 30 to Condon Coleman, so it's probably closer to almost 53, 54 inches. So I guess scale is about right. I was concerned it was a little long initially, but there are examples of about a 48-inch bracket arm in this area, and if this is at 40, that seems about right. I think I'm, with that said, good as proposed.
Okay, thanks. Kevin?
I think the revisions are appropriate. I do think it's a little long in size from left to right. Those are my comments. Thanks.
Okay. It is long, but I think in this, it's right next to that Congdon Coleman sign, which I believe to be longer myself.
It is longer.
It is longer. So yeah. I would be okay with this. Somebody want to make a motion?
I make the motion to approve as submitted in the black color scheme.
Second,
Thanks, Paul. Kevin, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Mark
Aye.
and Paul?
aye.
Okay, and I am as well. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you. So
Thank
that's
you very
with the black and white.
Okay, and it's cream.
Oh,
Okay.
the cream. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move over to 5 Bayberry Court.
Okay. That is Yale. They took over Marine's, or they bought Marine's appliance business. And they have their showroom is going to be at 5 Bayberry Court. And then they have a garage for storage on Salrose. So they want obviously a sign above their door on Bayberry so people know where they are and that they're here. And then the Salrose building is just for people, delivery people, really to know where they're going, which is also in the further down in the photos.
Okay, yeah, we have 2 applications here. So for the first one at 5 Bayberry Court, we have a wall sign,
Yes.
45 by 18, so size appropriate. Let's go Ben, Mark, Kevin, Paul. Ben?
Yeah,
Chris,
I think my first take
Yes,
on the
Paul.
sign is that it looks like really out of proportion or out of the right shape for the location it's going. It seems a little too rectangular, vertical. It seems a bit too vertical and not horizontal enough. I'd rather see it read or appear more like a traditional corner board rather than like a stamp or a logo or something. So, yeah, I think the font is a little too squared and there's not the serifs on it. It feels a little bit too modern and out of proportion.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Paul, I believe you were going to say that you're going to recuse yourself.
that is correct.
Okay, so thanks. Mark?
Yeah, I probably agree with what Ben's just said. I think historically the signage for this unit, I believe, and I can't recall when the bank was in this location, but I thought the signage has been, I think Marine always put the signage on the frieze board above the columns and not on the clapboard above. I could easily be mistaken. And I know that's a much smaller surface area to work with. So I think if the applicant was intent on trying to put it above the frieze there, then I would agree with Ben that I think it also reads a little bit too logo-like in its font style, and maybe a more horizontal and slightly lower profiled, closer to the first floor unit, if you would, might be more appropriate. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin?
I agree with what has been said. Actually, I think that the approach that they're using for the other property would be just as effective here and would fit above the frieze, on the frieze board, and I think look more appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, so listening to the comments, I agree the scale seems a little bit awkward. Would making this a more of a quarter board sign where the word appliance follows the word Yale be something that would work for you? I don't think the length is a concern. We'd actually like to see it longer is what's sort of being proposed. Does that make sense?
Do you want it to match the one on Salrose with blue
That'd
and
be
white?
fine with me.
Can I see the one, Laura? Is that possible?
1 second.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Mark, I'll say you have the floor at the moment.
Yeah, I guess I tend to agree with Kevin on that. I think that's horizontal format and it's less logo-like in its appearance. It's just simply block letters and the blue and the white, I think work. I think I'd rather see this than see if it could be applied to that trim board above the column
So
versus what's being proposed here.
that Salros is 12 inches tall by 84 is what they're asking for. So 12 inches won't, my point is 12 inches won't fit on the fascia. It's a little
Yeah.
tall.
Let's bounce around. Kevin, do you have any thoughts on what we're discussing?
They may not be able to be the same size, but I think in this location, a sign on the frieze board above the door is adequate and more than appropriate. I guess if we need, I'm happy to make a motion to hold for revisions if you think we need to do that.
Let's just let the conversation go a little bit longer before we end it. Ben?
Yeah, so I think the storage unit or the storage area sign is great. And I think that's a great sign and ready to approve that one. And when and if that sign ever comes up for, you know, the taking, I'd love to hang it in my basement. But it's very simple. It's very plain. It almost looks like almost throwback historic. It just has a very utilitarian look. I think at a storefront, it's a little underwhelming. If I was coming to buy appliances and I saw that sign, I might not be overwhelmed by it. I would almost suggest a more decorative or more stylized approach at the actual storefront. And I'm speaking for the benefit of the store, not for the sign or whatever. But I feel like that building, you know, with the clapboard and the columns and everything, it feels like it wants something a little bit more upscale and detailed. You know, if that's not the desire of the client, I think that the warehouse sign would be okay. But I think there's an opportunity here to create something that actually is more interesting. So that's my 2 cents.
Are you speaking, Ben, towards the detailing of a quarter board approach, the border, this end treatments, or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Should there be something on the ends, like some type of scroll or some type of, you know, kind of more corner board detailing? Should the lettering have a serif on it? Should it? Yeah, I just feel like it could handle some actual character. That might be just nice. But if they want it plain Jane, it's probably okay. It just seems a little underwhelming.
I was going to agree or say the same sort of thing, Ben, is that I think for a storefront, I understand how the font of Yale, for example, is, you know, an identifying factor. I'm not opposed to seeing that remain on the sign. I think the other sign at Salros is a little utilitarian for a storefront. And these buildings have some ornateness to their architectural style. So I'd like to see it be a more of a quarterboard shape. Not sure how integrating the Yale font and logo, if you will, and, you know, decorative ends would work well, or how that would look. But I almost see this being, you know, closer to the 20-foot size that would be allowed, just to be in keeping with the scale of this storefront, and perhaps shorter. I think is important. You know, something that is more of a lengthened and not quite as tall of a sign. But to the point of putting it on the frieze, personally, I'm not wed to that thought, because I think it could be a pretty small sign at that point. So I would personally entertain seeing something on the quarter board, but just, you know, not quite as tall and lengthened. So it sounds like we have general consensus here, a couple different ideas on what it's meant to look like. Does the applicant have any questions or comments?
I don't think they're on. I'll have to just get back to you about that.
Okay.
I'd make a
So-
motion to hold for revision.
Thanks, Mark.
I'll
Kevin?
second.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. Kevin, are you in favor of that?
Aye.
And Ben
Aye.
and Mark?
Aye.
Okay, I am as well. All right, thanks. Let's move over to 8 Salros Road. We've already had some discussion on this. Paul, do you want to be a part of this conversation, or do you feel it's appropriate to abstain from this as well?
I'll stay out of it.
Okay. So why don't we start with Kevin? We'll go Kevin, Ben, Mark. Okay.
Oh, sorry, is Paul recused from this one
Yes.
as well?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
he is.
Thank you.
So Kevin,
I'll be bold and make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second
all
that.
right. We are ending this discussion. We're going to the motion for approval. Ben, are you in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
I am as well. All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Great sign.
Thank you. Okay, 31 Easy Street. We have 2 applications here, 2 projecting signs. Let's look at number 1.
The owner is on Zoom as well.
Okay. Would they like to introduce us to these applications? We are going to review them one at a time, but you can speak to them as a whole if you want to just talk about your new venture.
You're on mute.
Hi, how are you?
Very
Hello?
well. Welcome to the meeting. Thank you for
Thank
being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity to present myself.
So,
yes.
Tell us about your signage here and how it's going to help you out.
Yes, this is going to help us from the both side. People coming going toward steamship, coming toward steamship, and then people going toward the town and coming around the town. They will give us the visibility from both side. It's going to help us a lot. And this sign will make it make the building look even nicer, even prettier.
Okay. All right. So these signs, at least the first one I'm looking at, which is are they both the same size? Let me ask sign here that
Yes.
question I'm seeing. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. So they're 30 by 24. So they're 5 square feet,
Yes,
which is appropriate for the guidelines. These brackets are existing. Is that correct? These brackets
Yes.
are on the building. Okay.
Yes.
So they have been used in the past. Okay.
Yes.
And these will be the only 2 signs that are being applied for the business.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay. Great. Why don't we'll go Kevin, Paul, Ben, Mark.
I'm just curious on one thing. How thick is the sign?
It's double-sided, so it would be at least an inch thick. Inch and 3/4 maybe.
Okay, yeah, I just get a little concerned sometimes. These get a little thin. I think the design is appropriate. I think it looks good. I have no concerns.
Okay. Paul?
The only question I have is that the one on the corner post is it seems like it's very high. But if we've approved it in the past, well, I don't know if we've approved it in the past, but with that picture there, it seems like it's way up in the air. It probably ought to be lower.
But you need
Okay.
clearance underneath it.
It looks to be taller than the clearance would be required, especially if there's clearance with the other sign. How hard is it to move that bracket? Is that just bolted to the corner boards or?
That would be a Todd Arno thing. That's a
Okay.
significant bracket.
I mean, I've been I've been sitting here staring at that bracket, not all the time, but most of the time. Probably for almost 20 years. It's been there all of 20 years. Nothing has changed in that building in all the years I've been here, other than tenants. So I think it might have been high originally because the elevation we're looking at right now, one time had an awning that projected off the side of this. So I think it was mounted high. It's been high.
And there was
It's been-
outdoor seating.
Yeah, it's been there as long as I can recall. And there's quite a bit of foot traffic that does run into that. So if it comes down, it still has to stay of some height. So I agree it's a little atypical, but it's been there. The Easy Street Cafe sign was there prior to that. So what that's worth.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Ben, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I think it looks great. I think it looks like a great sign, and I'm excited to see. This building come back to life. So I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that these were in use before. These signs look to be appropriate. Let's make motions if we're going to.
Could I ask
Yes.
for you one additional question? So I know that you stated presumably this is the only 2 signs being applied for, but are we going to see a menu box or anything of that nature being mounted to either this entrance or the Easy Street entrance? And that's probably a question for the applicant, obviously.
Good question. Or chalkboards.
Yeah,
No, this is going to be 2 signs.
that's it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
I will also add that your chairs were just delivered. They look good.
Thank you, sir.
They're coming off the truck right now.
Thank you,
So
sir.
live update from Easy Street. I would make a motion to approve as submitted. These are, I guess we can make, are these two separate applications?
Yeah, let's just do it one at a time for record keeping.
So I can think of the first one we're looking at as the Easy Street location.
Do the Easy Street sign first.
So I'd make a motion to approve the Easy Street sign. It's
Second,
assuming this is in conjunction with only one additional sign. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Nikki. But let's just make a note of that in the motion, please.
Sorry, I couldn't hear Mark properly. Could you repeat your motion, Mark?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'd make a motion to approve the Easy Street location. And assuming again, this is in conjunction with one additional sign on this building. This is probably going to now create a discussion, but this sign was illuminated originally. It looks like the lights have come down, and Kevin's going to shoot me. I guess if they are open evenings, and which I believe that they are they planning to illuminate this sign? And I guess before I make that motion completely, do we want any discussion on that? Is there any proposal to illuminate this, or for that matter, the other sign as well?
The applications, just for the record, on the Easy Street side, say no lighting.
No lighting.
Okay.
If I'm reading 1 and 2 correctly, and then the other one says existing lighting.
All right,
So
that's
one will be lit, one will not.
so as per the application. So I'll move forward with the motion. Excuse me, to apply as submitted in conjunction with one additional sign in this building.
second,
Okay. Ben, are you in favor?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And Paul?
aye,
And Mark?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. Can we make a motion for the Broad Street version of this sign?
I would make a motion to approve that sign as well as submitted in conjunction with only one additional sign on this building.
second,
Well, Ben, are you in favor?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Paul?
aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
Great. All right,
And,
thank you.
and you're working with sign here so that they'll provide guidance, but just a closing comment that I don't know if there will be umbrellas or anything of that nature, but again, we want to keep vendor or product names off umbrellas should they be introduced to any outdoor dining and things of that nature. Thanks. Wish you luck.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move over to 1 Hooper Farm Road. And we have 2 signs there replacing existing signs. This is formerly Mike Wilson's law office, turning into Nantucket Aesthetics. Do we have anybody on the call for this sign? We do not, so we can review it.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
sorry, I'm
there.
here.
Robin.
Yep.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Robin. Yes, we can.
Okay.
Thanks. So we understand you're moving into this building.
Yes.
You want to talk about your application? We have 2 before us, 1 projecting, 1 wall.
Yeah, sure. So kind of how he had them before, one is going to be hanging. There's an old bracket there right now. I'll replace it with a new bracket. That one, I was trying to size it appropriately. So I can, make sure it's a good size. And then one on his right side on the, like facing kind of like the rotary where he had a longer sign. Oh, sorry, this is just this one first, sorry.
Right. So just so everybody knows, there is a sign on the gable end facing the rotary that was approved before with Mike Wilson's sign. But we'll take, the discussion can be for both of them, but we'll take each application as a separate motion. So let's go with Paul, Ben, Mark, Kevin. Paul?
Yeah,
you wanna start?
can we say the application quickly so we can see the materials and so forth? All right.
Okay, according to the applicant, it's wood, beveled edge band, painted and carved paint with white and a teal color. I'm seeing size of signs as either 1.5 by 1.5 or 2 by 2. Either would be appropriate. Do you have a choice there, Robin? It would be good for us to be specific with.
Sorry, I didn't measure like what that would be. So saying around there.
Okay. Why don't, when we make a motion, if we do, let's just say 2 by 2, just to
Okay.
at least have something that's more firm.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
No, I think, it talks about a beveled edge, which I think is a good thing. Does it need a color on that bevel to just kind of complete the picture? It'd probably be an improvement, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. So that's up to the applicant. So otherwise, I'm okay.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I agree with what Ben just said. I think the sign graphics are traditional enough that with the bevel, it's totally fine. And I think I know we'll vote on these separately, but I think both signs are totally fine as applied for.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin?
Nothing to add.
Okay. I'm actually going to put my foot down here and say I think we should have that bevel painted. I think especially on a white background, the bevel kind of disappears as a border, and it's important not to have the white space just bleed off. So, Robin, would you be opposed to painting that beveled edge the same teal blue just to kind of give it a frame?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thanks. That would be my request. So
I'll make a motion to approve a 2 foot by 2 foot sign with the beveled being painted the teal blue.
Okay.
Second.
all right. Thanks. Kevin?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
Okay, I am as well. And thank you for indulging me. Let's move over to the wall sign. And I think we'll have, is that the same size as the existing sign? Robin,
Yeah,
have you
I'm gonna try
measured?
to do it the same size.
Okay. So just so everybody knows that if it's 1 foot by 3 foot, which is what's on the application.
Hello?
What we're seeing on the on this graphic is not in scale with that. So I think if we all want to understand that this is what we're seeing here is more of a, I don't know,
Just a vision,
10-foot sign. So is 1 foot by 3 foot the size that we're reviewing, Robin? That's
Yes,
what the applicant.
it is,
Okay.
yes.
Great, thanks. Let's go Ben, Mark, Kevin, Paul.
Yep, so I think like the other sign, I think we want to paint the bevel, that teal blue. I think had there not been a sign here prior, I probably would give you quite a bit of pushback on this. It feels a bit like a billboard on the rotary, but you're lucky enough to have an existing sign that you're replacing. So I would want the approval to clearly indicate that we are approving this location due to an existing sign in that location. And that's it.
Thanks, Ben. Mark?
Yeah, I have no concerns. I do think it's sort of a corner condition, which is why we approved the gable end sign originally. And as Ben just stated, it is sort of somewhat grandfathered, given we've approved sign in that location previously. So no concern.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Nothing to add.
Okay, Paul?
No comment.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. Thanks for modifying with the border being painted teal. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve as submitted with a border painted in teal.
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Ben?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
Okay, I am as well. All right, thank you, Robin, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Let's move over to 2 Washington Street. I think we have the Hollisters on the line here.
Hello.
Hi, guys. You want to introduce us to your application?
Sure. Hi, I'm Emily Hollister. I own Millie and Grace, which is at 2 Washington Street. Thank you so much for considering my application. We are here today because we have 3 facades of the store and only 2 signs. And I'm here asking for a 3rd sign above the window of the store, of the front window, facing Washington Street.
Okay, so, and your existing signage, just to bring everybody up to speed, is what? Do we have photographs of those in the packet?
This is why we're requesting another sign. We have a sign at the back door, as you can see on the screen. And then there is another hanging sign that was there, that location was approved prior for the stores, both Addison Craig and RJ Miller previously. So that is just a sign we put there in place of that. But we're requesting a sign above the window because people often cannot find the store. So this is something that we'd love to have above, like when you're, if you can kind of, yeah, okay. So if you're facing the front entrance, okay, if you stop there, is everybody looking at this screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. So if you scroll down, okay, this is the alleyway getting to my store. There is no signage on this side of the building. And then if you keep scrolling down to the front entrance, when you're looking at the store, it is, the sign is to the right of the store, but there's no visibility of the sign when you step outside or look at the front entrance. People are often confused about what store they're in. And they have to kind of walk around the store. We watch people walk around looking for the store. So we think it will be helpful to have a sign above the window on the other side to just sort of help people locate us.
And if you scroll down a little farther and show the Washington Street facade as existing, yeah, right there, the projecting sign, which is perpendicular to that facade, sort of can't be seen as you drive by. And so the hope is that it would be now seen. And the context is that this sort of above window quarter board exists for the surrounding businesses. So Ralph Lauren across the street, Callista West and Blue Beetle to the left, and J. McLaughlin to the right. And we did not submit photos of those context signs. So apologies for that.
But we do have a PDF that we can send out.
Or share on the screen if that's possible during the meeting.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Let me just have all the members weigh in here with their thoughts. Ben, Mark, Kevin, and Paul.
Yeah, so I'll need an update, or Chris, maybe you can remember when we have a business like this, are they allowed 3 signs? I think that's question number one. You know, I look at that little back entrance sign, which I think is an absolutely adorable sign. I question whether it even really counts as a sign if it's under 1 foot by 1 foot. But you know, I really don't have a problem with the corner board going above the big picture window from a permitting and allowable standpoint. And especially, I agree with the context. I'm familiar with this area. I don't think anybody isn't, but I would make, and hopefully this would get you to the outcome that you want. But I think that little alley where your entrance is a real gem that I think a lot of people miss in town. I think it's just a really fun little spot, very intimate little area. And I think historically it's been hard for people who don't know town to get drawn into there. I think it's sort of walked by a little too quickly. And I'm not sure that, and I think that's what you want. You want people to really get drawn into that alley and see your door and go in. And I'm worried that the corner board that you're proposing isn't really getting that outcome. So again, I'm assuming we can come to agreement on the 3 signs. I have no problem with the corner board. But if you want my personal opinion, I think that there should somehow be a way to get people to really draw to the entrance of into that little courtyard and into the entrance. And I'm not sure this corner board is fully capturing that goal.
Thanks, Ben. Mark, let me just have all the commissioners comment.
Of course.
Thanks, Mark.
I guess the one question I have, I don't know if it's marked up on a site plan. So where is the projecting sign? Is it to the right corner board of?
To the left of the proposed sign.
So near this ivy, would that be correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's right there. So it's where the cursor is. Okay.
Yeah, and when the trees are in bloom, there it is.
Screen.
Just Ben, or everybody, to address Ben's comment, I did look up, even in corner lot conditions, we say that you can use 2 wall signs if that's desired, but it would still limit the number of signs to 2 per business. So just to refer to the guidelines.
Right. So that's my concern. I guess I'm just trying to think if I'm a little concerned with setting a precedent for 3 sign approvals. And I'm wondering if it's just a way to get there in some fashion, as if to Ben's comment, that the sign we're seeing on the right now, is that an entrance used by customers, or is it not a loading, but receiving door? Or
it's an entrance. We have 2 entrances.
It is an entrance. Yeah, gotcha. So I don't know if that can be reduced such that it could comply. I'm thinking out loud here, I apologize. Or does the projecting sign come down if it's not really for servicing you, and then we can approve the one that's over the window. And I agree with Ben. I mean, you lack any signage from the alley at that point. Is there something that should, because the sign is not, I guess it's corner condition. And there is a sign by one of the doors. So I don't know, a little torn. I'm having a hard time I don't know that it's a problem. I'm just rambling here. I don't know if it's inappropriate per se from a historic setting, but I am a little concerned on approving 3 signs, and then what that brings later from other store owners with similar conditions. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get them there that meets their need for getting people to their front door, but I don't know if this is it. I guess I'll be curious also to hear what the others have to say. So
Thanks. Let's have Kevin.
I think there should be a sign by the front entrance. I think that somebody needs to clean off all the stuff that's growing on the front of the building so people can find the entrance. I think that would solve a big part of the problem. I don't mind the sign or the quarter board sign going over the window. However, I am concerned about, having to put a sign up because the, landscaping hasn't been maintained. That's a little crazy for me. So that's my concern.
Okay, Paul.
I was going to say the same thing that Kevin did about time to cut the bushes down. I realize it's an exception, but I'm not opposed to the 3 signs because it's probably one of the few businesses that has 3 sides to it. Other than that, I think the signs are appropriate.
Emily, how big is that sign by the back door? Do you guys know the size of that?
It's a little bit less than 4 shingle courses. So,
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's, I don't know, 17 inches square, something like that.
Okay. If that sign, just throwing this out, is it possible in the effort of making the new wall sign for the quarter board, could you make a new sign here that is 12 square inches, 12 by 12? Is that something that could be done and maybe placed, appropriately? That would get us into as somebody mentioned, there's a little flexibility in the guidelines when signs are 1 square foot or less.
Okay.
Is that something that could work for you guys? I'm not sure that that's how the motions are going to go here, but just proposing that.
I think.
Get your feedback.
What about if the sign on the bracket moved to above the front door? Is that
meaning around the ivy,
mm-hmm.
on the ivy elevation?
So the ivy has been there since RJ Miller days. So this is my 16th year, and prior to that, RJ Miller was there for a long time. So the ivy has been there for a long time. It's not something I think I want to get rid of. But I think if we could move the sign over the door,
I'm not sure that gets us. The concern is the 3 signs, just in general. The guidelines are pretty specific about limiting any business to 2. Okay. So that's where we're just trying to. So where it's located wouldn't be as much of a factor as the quantity.
Mm-hmm. Chris,
yeah, Kevin.
Maybe you could just clarify for me a little bit. The guidelines, as they refer to the number of entrances, I guess, as if there was a different tenant on that other entrance, we would allow a sign for them. So yes. I think it's, in that regard, I think it's a little silly to have them make a smaller sign to have a workaround. So that I'm kind of less concerned about there being 3 on this building for those reasons. But I still think there might be a way to make the entrance a little more defined. That's all.
Okay, well, so in the scope of this application, let's, if they wanted to revise their application and come through with a whole different approach, we could. I know that I'm thinking about Ralph Lauren, actually. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they probably have 3 signs by the time all is said and done, if Main Street was included. So, and that might be because they've got what appears to be 2 separate buildings, but yeah, who's driving that? Let's see if we can go.
If I could just make a
I
comment,
think
I mean,
Go ahead, Ben.
yeah, I mean, number one, I think that ivy, I'm sorry, Kevin, but I think that ivy's got to stay. I think that's just an absolutely beautiful aesthetic on that building. And I think moving the blade sign above the door and kind of poking through the ivy would be fantastic. Personally, the service entrance sign is so benign and almost utilitarian that I'm comfortable making the exception for this kind of unusually orientated storefront to have it. And then the corner board as submitted seems absolutely approvable. So personally, I would be very comfortable seeing this going through with the blade sign moving over the door in some way.
Okay.
Can we see that elevation again to see how that might even work? Because I
There's
don't.
a photograph looking down the alley, right?
There was one
I
straight
can't
on of
hear
the front
Mark.
door, the entrance
Hold
door.
on. Sorry, Mark, can you go again? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, I was suggesting, can we see the front door again for the main entrance? Maybe the other one, yeah. With all the ivy around it. Yeah. Ben, is this what you're saying? If the blade side came around?
Yeah, I mean,
by the front door?
yeah, it's fantastic. The ivy is fantastic. I don't know how the blade sign is going to be projected out of that mess, but
because that was sort of my thinking too. I think I can get around and accept the 3 signs if the blade sign's not really doing them much service, and they will have a sign over the window now potentially. Then pull that around and put it by the front door. They may need to, just kind of like the town does with the privet sometimes with steamship sign or the town signage. They carve in. You see it all the time in street signs. I don't know if the ivy could be cut back to accommodate the blade side. Let's say the blade side was plain side sign was on the right hand side of this door. So then you could actually see it up and down the alley. When you turn that corner, you'd see it, and you'd see the entrance as you make your way down Washington. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody can answer that question with that. If they were to attach that armature there, could it be made visible and the ivy cut back to accommodate it? It's charming when some of the times the sign and these elements sort of project out of the vegetation, and the vegetation sort of carved in around it. But I don't know if that's feasible.
I can.
Emily, Steve.
Yeah, I think that's feasible. I think we could trim back the vegetation, and certainly we can mount the projecting bracket above the door. And so I think that would be a good solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. We will see. That ivy is tenacious. So
can I make a motion to approve the wall sign above the window as submitted, with the blade sign or projecting sign relocated to the entrance, main entrance?
Second.
Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Aye.
And Ben.
Aye.
And Paul.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Okay, I'm in favor as well. Thanks, guys. I think that was well thought through.
thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Mhm.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Let's move over to Dave Kim Lane. Is anybody on the call for this?
Yep, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and introduce us. How are you, Matt?
Good, thank you. So this is, this building's under construction currently. It's in, on Davkim Lane. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that area. It's kind of a former, I don't know if a junkyard's appropriate, but it's definitely an industrial area. And so the owners are looking to add signage in anticipation of the completion of the structure. So this is what they're hoping to do. In terms of the size and scale of the sign, there's two signs. There's one in the north elevation and one in the west. We've included the dimensions on the elevations for reference. And then they actually referenced, I think, the Nantucket Hotel as an antecedent, if you will, for the size and font and color scheme. So anyways, we're here just to get feedback from you all. So with that, look forward to the comments from the board. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mark, Kevin, Paul, Ben.
Yeah, I know the building is probably hard to find given its scale, but that was a joke. I think the signs want to sit down off these buildings and ideally near the entrances. I don't love the idea. I guess the north elevation, it's an asymmetrical approach to signage, given it's I think a perfectly nearly symmetrical elevation, and where that sign could maybe just sit within the portico over that entrance. I think you're going to find this building. There's no way, that's for sure. And I think therefore that sign could, just be a little bit more at the human scale. And as you drive up, you'll clearly see it, just in case you're coming to the building for the first time. And I would, if we could go down to I guess I should presume it's south elevation or west elevation. Okay. I'd make the same comment. I think that maybe should sit down, within the portico somewhere down in there. Graphically, it's probably fine. I probably prefer a square. They may modify these two to accommodate the portico approach should they elect to go that route, if there's support for such from the other commissioners. But that goes to my comments. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin.
I agree with what Mark has said regarding where the sign should be positioned. I also the upper and lower case sans serif font is not appropriate. That's all.
Thanks, Paul.
I have a question for Matt. What's on the second floor?
Of the building?
Yes.
Storage. It's all interior, long-term storage units. And there's actually third floor area as well, believe it or not.
Okay, all right. Nevertheless, I agree with what Mark's proposed, and that is moving the sign over the entrance.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
On the north elevation, that's the view you get when you pull in with your storage, in your vehicle. That's the first thing you see, right, Matt?
Correct. Yeah, that faces down.
Yeah. I'm really okay with the location of the north elevation sign. I think from this is a almost industrial setting. You have people coming in there who may have never been there before. I think it's helpful to see a sign with the name on there so that you know that you've come to the right place. And putting it over that door, I don't think is going to help that fast identification. So I'm actually okay with that location from a practical standpoint. And then on the is it west elevation, the next one down? Nikki, do you mind just scrolling down so we can see that next one real quick? Yeah, so I think that sign should be in that triangular space above the door. I think that then really draws you into that location. So north elevation, I'm good with location, and west elevation, I would prefer to see it above the door. And then regarding the font, I think the font is not approvable. I think it needs a serif. And I don't think it all needs to be capitalized, but I think a little bit of detail on there would be good. And that's it.
All right, thanks, Ben. Yeah, I agree with Ben's comments. I think that I wouldn't want to see it too small of a sign where we just see this large building facade without clearly identifying its purpose. So as much as I'd like to see the large sign closer to the main door, that seems to be the appropriate place for it. Size-wise, it's right on the 20 square foot mark. So good work with the calculator there, Matt. But I'd like to see the serif font as well. Matt, do you want to make any comments?
Yeah, no, I think that's all. And again, I think that they, they approached us about signage, and then we just kind of gave the general rules and then let them kind of come to us about what would be preferable for them. And I think that they did their own kind of recon, if you will, and they looked at the Nantucket Hotel. So they literally just took a picture of that sign and copied it. So I could talk to them about the serif. We've also done too that what we referred to collectively as a micro serif. When we talked to the graphic designer, they were like, "What is a micro serif?" But we can certainly talk to them about that. And then I don't disagree with the asymmetry in terms of the one that's on the north elevation. If there was a way to kind of have it elevated and maybe centered, but we have that existing window in the center line there. So one other question, they actually originally came to us and asked for a freestanding sign at the entrance. Is that something that would be, we kind of told them no, but I'm just before you all now, and I can just get direct feedback on that. I can see you're all shaking your heads now. So.
Solid no. It's a solid no.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Well, I figured I'd ask, just since so. All right, well, listen, I think I have enough feedback. I appreciate your time and your comments.
But you did get cupolas on there, so there you go.
It needed something, it was such a big building.
Okay, so can we have a motion?
Do we have
Sounds
a
like we're going to hold for
consensus
revisions.
here? Yeah, I'm wondering what the direction is exactly.
I think we need to hold for revisions, Matt, just so that we get
I'm happy
the
to.
revised font and the locations and such.
Totally happy to do that. I think I have enough feedback where that was my assumption that we would hold for revisions. I'll go back to the client. We'll come back before with some revised locations, sizes, and fonts for your review. And hopefully we've addressed all your concerns when we come back.
Thanks, Matt.
Great.
Thanks. So
moved.
Thank you, Ben. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Kevin. Mark?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And Ben?
Aye.
Great. Thank
Great.
you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, last location is 2 Broad Street, Nantucket Crisps.
How's it going? How are you?
Hello. Well, thanks. Introduce us to your applications here. We have 2 signs, a wall sign and a projecting sign.
Totally. So yeah, we're lucky. We're pumped to have a T release over on Broad Street. Super excited, and not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Doing the same sign we did last year over where Sweet Inspirations used to be. We want to have a hanging sign by the door where originally there was a kind of hanging sign spot, and then we want a sign on the side of the building as well. That has where there used to be one as well. There used to be a little sign on the side too. So just trying to get view and traffic from both sides.
Okay, and just to let everybody see what we're talking about, the wall sign is being proposed. Is that the 28 by 20 is the projecting sign.
Yep.
And the wall sign size
Same size.
It's 28 by 20. Okay, so both the same.
28 by 20.5.
Okay. Okay, let's go Kevin, Paul, Ben, and Mark. I think we can talk about the whole application, both signs, and then we'll make motions separately. So Kevin.
I think the sign, from a graphic point of view, I think the signs are approvable. This is tough. I'm not a big fan of the wall sign. I understand there was there was one there before. However, just the scale of it on this building just seems to be a little much. I guess I don't have a whole lot to add. I sort of feel like it's a cute little building and the signs are a little bit just kind of a toss off, and feels a little bit, I guess, maybe what it is, like an outlet store or something. It doesn't breed a lot of character to Nantucket in my mind, other than it says it. So that's it. Thanks.
Great.
Paul?
I'm assuming these are the same signs that you had around the corner.
Exactly. Same thing.
And we approve those.
Mm-hmm.
This is the previous approval. I attached it.
Okay. I don't recall the conversation at the time, but my reaction is that these signs are too white and too red
Mhm.
for downtown. I think the colors could be more of a cream and a more of a diminished red. To be appropriate for that location. Is one of the first things people see getting off the boat, and the last thing they see getting on the boat. So those are my comments.
All right, thanks, Ben.
I am thrilled to see a business going into this little building. I was really worried when the toy store left that this building may not be ever used again. So thank you for using it.
Yeah.
I think the wall, oh, there it is. Oh, this is helpful. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah.
I think the blade sign is by the door is a no-brainer. That's easy to prove. The wall sign's a little trickier for me. I do think that that's a little bit billboardy. Yeah, I don't think this graphic is helping you because I feel like the billboard sign is not scaled to the actual size that it really is.
It's not scaled to it. And like
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I learned is like it's like when you're coming around the bend, like and you're coming around from Surfside and Stubby's, like you can see the store here. You can like when you're seeing it from this angle, you can see that sign. But when you're walking from the other side, from the Dreamland coming this way, you don't really know what it is until it's too late.
Yeah.
Because you'll pass and then you're past the sign, the hanging sign. And that's like why I assume that's what getting around it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I disagree because those projecting or those windows are going to be filled with your product, and it's going to be pretty obvious to what's going on in there.
Yeah.
But with all that said, I think this is an appropriate way to use this building, and that location for the wall sign has been used historically, and the sign really isn't as big as it's being shown to us here. So I'm okay with this proposal. I'm fine.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, Mark.
What are the dimensions of those signs again, please?
That's 28 wide and 20 tall.
Okay. So I think that's so I think it's actually, I think the graphics are not quite or misconstruing how it's going to really look. I think it's smaller than the former Kidding Around sign in terms of height. That seems to be about 25 inches in height and width.
I messed up doing. To be honest, I should not have put myself up to the task of putting this on there and transposing it because it's definitely not coming off right. So
when I look at her former projecting sign by the door, though, that does look a bit smaller than the dimensions being provided in the second sign. If we zoom, yeah, see how small that was. I'm a little concerned that the scale of what that will look like on that bracket arm. I'm assuming we're going to use that again. I feel like the new sign should probably be more in scale with what was there. And I sort of agree with Ben. This is the just for historical note. I think this is a former blacksmith shop a million years ago. And I hear you lose the foot traffic coming down easy. You don't know it until you come on top of the building. Aaron used to sometimes change the flag out with like holiday, like it might be something for Christmas and something for Halloween. And that sort of
cool. That's awesome.
So I just throw that out there. I'm wondering if a flag sign, but the flag sign hangs so low to the street that becomes problematic to the sidewalk. So sorry, again, I'm rambling. So I think I'm okay with this, provided that the sign on the projecting sign is probably scaled down to be closer to what Aaron had there previously. It seems like that one worked for that location and the arm itself. And you're going to get 1,000 people that are going to come to your door trying to order a taco. Because they all come there trying to get in. They try and get in the courtyard. They watch it all day long, and then they get all confused and they finally make their way around the corner. But so just sell them some chips before they split and go around for a bite to eat. But those are my comments. Thanks.
Cool.
Mark, you might remember this best. I'm racking my brain to recall if these kidding around signs actually were approved. To be quite honest with you, I don't know, Nikki, if you saw the file, if there is an application for them, but wasn't there a kidding around quarter board that used to be like a black quarter board on that wall along the sidewalk? Does that ring a bell to anybody else?
I think that's been there a long, long time.
Yeah.
That's certainly been her logo.
Right. It's just, it's
I
surprising.
couldn't give you a date, but go ahead.
Okay. It's just surprising it was approved. It doesn't meet the guidelines. So that's where I'm just, I'm struggling with it. But I don't know if having it as a quarter board would help it in any way visually with the rest of the board. For me, it would. But
in some ways, I like the way the signs, as proposed, sort of fits within the scale of that shingled area. It's sort of a quirky little facade with the windows off to the right. And I think it's shown bigger here than it is in reality. It will be in reality. So if that comes down a little bit, I think it kind of fits in there nicely. It's well balanced versus something that's going to be long and thin in a quarter board form. But
all right. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I would make a motion to approve. Are these two separate applications? Sorry.
Yeah, well, let's do one at a time. So we'll do it the wall sign first, and then the projecting sign second.
Yeah, I would approve the wall sign as submitted.
I second that.
Okay. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Kevin's muted.
Kevin, would you like to cast?
I'm not in favor. I think that Paul's comment of adjusting the color palette was a very good comment, and I think that would help in this case. So I'm not in favor of it as submitted.
Okay. I've just lost track. Mark, did you vote?
I made the motion.
You made the motion. So Paul is in favor. Ben?
Aye.
Paul, did you vote? I apologize. I totally lost track.
Yeah,
okay.
I said, yeah, aye.
Okay. And I'm opposed, unfortunately, but I don't think it's going to matter. Mark?
Aye.
Okay. So the motion does carry 3-2. If I'm reading Kevin's vote correctly. And so do we have a motion for the projecting sign?
I'd make a motion to approve the projecting sign, provided that is scaled down to the existing bracket arm, not unlike the sign that was there previously.
So the length not to exceed the bracket arm length.
Yeah, I also question, I again, if it's only 20 inches tall, again, I think we're getting thrown by the submittal here. So
yeah.
Hopefully it's much smaller than what it looked like previously. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get a picture of what it looked like on the old. So it's 20.5. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess I'm gonna stick with that. I guess as long as it's scaled appropriately to the existing bracket arm.
Let's be specific, just to something along the length not to exceed bracket arm.
It's 28.5 20.5. Is that what the length is? Yeah, 28 inches.
28 by 20.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So 28 long, right? Left to right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Chris, I can't give him a dimension if I don't know the size of that bracket arm. I just want it scaled appropriately.
Right.
So the length does not exceed the existing bracket arm. Maybe that's the way to say it.
Okay, I think that's fair enough. Do we have a second to that?
Second that.
Thanks, Ben. Paul
Aye.
and Kevin. Kevin, we're not
Sorry,
hearing you.
no.
No. Okay, Mark,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
and I'm okay with that one. So we'll say 4-1. Recommend approval of the size appropriate projecting sign. Thanks. Yes, Nikki.
So, do you want the applicant to provide like an updated? Because it would be
Yes,
helpful, so it matches just for record keeping in the file.
that would be great. So we could get that size amended with a confirmation on the bracket length.
So I should just figure out the bracket length and have it fall in line with the bracket width, essentially.
Yep. And
So
then
yeah,
sub in.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Can you do that today, just before the meeting? Would that be helpful, Nikki, if it was submitted to you before tonight's meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, Hayden. Yeah, if that could get to her before the meeting tonight, where the HDC will vote, that would be great.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so we have reviewed all of the applications, and the next item on the agenda is enforcement, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Have a good one. Bye.
Nikki, do you have any update for us on enforcement?
My picture. Hey, Nikki, you're muted. Nikki, we can't hear
All right, well, I'll let you all
Sorry.
know that Ben sent in the comment or the concern about the Cape Cod 5 signage, which I forwarded to Nikki. And
Yeah, they were approved, but it was subject to the material being a wooden material as opposed to the one they originally had shown us with the samples. This just, I mean,
It's
it
the
kind of
same.
looks like wood, but then it doesn't. So
So
I
they
would
use
like
the same by the door, right? You can see it here.
you.
You
Yeah.
zoom in on it. They're identical. So it seems like, did anybody go up and check it out yet?
no. Did you get to like test it, Ben?
I didn't, but I
Oh,
will
okay.
now.
I mean, I could.
I
I
just
just
like-
was
It sure
wondering
just
if you
doesn't
did.
feel like wood.
Yeah, that one you could actually get a better handle on, and presumably they're the same. So yeah, maybe I'll do the same. I
Okay.
agree with the comment.
Chris,
yes, Paul.
I think they changed all their signs in town. I saw a crane up on the side of the Pleasant Street store putting up a new sign. And I think it's all much more modernistic looking sign and material. I don't think
Okay.
we didn't approve
Did-
that.
We did
Did
approve
we-
the I think we approved the graphics. I think it's just a question of materiality,
Yeah,
right?
they came in for the Pleasant. I can pull it up right now. Hold on. They came in. Wasn't approved.
Breaking
You're
it.
muted again, Nikki.
Hold on. I'm pulling.
Okay.
Thanks.
Just click the mute. Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't look natural. I mean, maybe we did approve the graphics. The graphics are kind of, we may have not studied that close enough, but the material looks really plasticky.
Yeah.
Well, I'll find out. I'll go over there in a minute and tap on it.
So they originally submitted it for the carved HDU. And, you guys weren't okay with that. So, I think Mark made the motion subject to it being wood. But, I mean, it does
Oh, yeah, there it is.
not really look like wood, but
No,
it's just to knock it, like
Yeah.
test it. Yeah. And
there
I
it
wrote
is.
wood on all of the paper so that it's on record that we requested it to be wood. So
Yeah.
not really.
Plastic.
And then what's the other address? Is it 112 Pleasant?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Hold on.
That was good, Nikki.
Let's see. Yeah, so they came in for a bunch. Yep, same thing. The motion was approved subject to material change to wood. So we did include that in the motion. That's consistent with the guidelines and as discussed at the meeting. So if it's not wood, then they would be in violation.
See that.
Yeah, all of them say that. They did the wall sign for that, another wall sign on the other side, and then the window drive-up sign.
All right, well, I'll take it upon myself to go pick at the one down on Main Street there and see what it is. And Chris, I'll report back to you with my inclination on material.
Thank you.
I'll look at Pleasant Street.
Okay.
All right, and I'll forward everything that I received to Nikki.
Yes, and copy Leslie as well, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. That's pretty much it. Still nothing about the state forest signs. I'm trying to see if I could get another contact person who will respond to me, but I still haven't heard anything. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for trying. Keep that going. Any other questions or comments regarding enforcement?
Nope.
Okay, today was a marathon meeting. Thanks everybody for making it go as smoothly as it did. Any motions relating
Motion
to
to
us
adjourn.
ending? Thanks,
Second.
Kevin.
Second that.
Ben, second. Paul.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Ben.
Aye.
And Kevin.
Aye.
I am as well. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks
Cheers.
everybody.
Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.